Hello, hello. I'm Cosmic Jack. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to do a video kind of breaking down not like the full kind of next 6 months astrologically, but really talking about these three outer planet shifts we have had in the last few months, as it is really preparing you for what to come and what to expect come 2026. Because come 2026, the energy is going to be completely new, and it's going to be like a reset, like a for real reset. It is also a 1 next year. We are in a 9 now, so it's like these next 6 months is really a bridge between who you have been in your past and building to this new future and this new reality. And so, as someone who was in a year 9 last year, I'm in a year 1 this year. Trust me, you want to use your 9 year to leave everything that you don't want to come with you into your 1, because you want to go guns a-blazing like into your year 1. And if you didn't do the work to release all of it, you're gonna have to do that like in your year 1. And like your year 1 is like your Fool card. It's like when you can like create magic and miracles and everything is like wide open. And you don't want to like drag the drudge from your year 9 into your the purity of your year 1. And so right now the cosmos are really like just teeing you up to be like completely brand new and like clean, fresh slate energy, like come the end of the year. And the time is really going to fly by. The first half of the year is already flown by, and we all know the second half of the year goes by so much quicker. And so, the time's gonna go by either way. You might as well just leverage the astrology to create the shifts. And so we are in July now. So basically, we are a few days away from Uranus moving into Gemini. And when Uranus moves into Gemini, that is when things are really going to quicken and the pace is going to pick up. And what is so interesting is we've had a few months now of Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and they're like retrograding, like just they're sandwiching Uranus's station, and Neptune is stationing retrograde on July 4th. Saturn is stationing retrograde, I believe, on the 13th of July. Uranus is moving into Gemini July 7th. And so what's so interesting is we're getting all of this new energy at the same time, like energy is getting pulled back. And so you want to really reflect on what the themes have been in the Aries part of your chart, especially because we've had Jupiter, who also moved into Cancer, square these angles of where Neptune and Saturn have been hanging out with like the first degrees of Aries, the first degrees of the zodiac. And really, what have been the themes for you since March 30th when Neptune entered Aries, and since the end of May when Saturn entered Aries? And all of this energy is going to get turned inward when Neptune and Saturn station retrograde, for you to reflect on. And what they both are going to do is retrograde back into Pisces. And so it's really interesting because, we had all of this, we have basically had all of this energy moving and bobbing back and forth between the end of the zodiac, which is Pisces, and the beginning of the zodiac, which is Aries, this year. So we had basically the North Node move from Aries to Pisces. We had Venus retrograde from Aries to Pisces and then back through. And now we're having Neptune and Saturn both move forward and move back. So this like end of the zodiac, beginning of the zodiac has been a huge spotlight and point in your birth chart, but also just collectively. It's like we're teetering between the end of the world and the beginning of the new world, It's like we're, like the visual that I'm like getting is, You know, like in Hunger Games, when Katniss, she wins her battle. She wins her Hunger Games or whatever, and she like wins because like she gets PETA and she like breaks the fucking Matrix. And then in the next movie, they basically have to go back in. And that's like, I have full body chills. It's like, that's the energy. It's like, well, you beat the game, but then it's like, then the game shifted and you have to like go back in and beat the game again. And that's like kind of the energy. And so it's like you conquered this like the first level, and you're like on your hero's journey, and you're, you know, fucking shit up, but then it's like the game changes and the game switches and you have to like rebattle and like reinvent things. But you know, in that second movie, everyone conspires to help Katniss win the game, right? And it starts this whole like revolution and evolution. And so that's just kind of I don't know why I'm getting like so many chills like talking about that, but that's just kind of what this transition between the end of the Pisces to the beginning of Aries is, because the 29th degree of Pisces is the end of the world, right? It's the end of the life cycle. It is actually what represents death in the zodiac. And then we have the 0 degrees of Aries, which is the creator degree. So it's like, we've been just going back and forth between death and rebirth, but it's like not necessarily like the transformation that happens within Scorpio. It's more like a complete disillusion. I'm like disillusionment. I'm like, I don't know if that's a freaking word, but it's like a complete dissolving. And you know, with Scorpio, it's like we take this and we turn it into something else and we alchemize it. With like Pisces, it's like, no, things actually have to die with Pisces. And then like a new cell is born. You know, it's like how I'm seeing it. It's like it's like reincarnation, right? It's like the soul dies, the body actually has to die, and then it's like reborn as something in a new body. It's like that almost extreme. And so many parts of your old life and reality like have to die to be reborn. And so the astrology has really been this year like preparing us for this shift. And you know, things get really loud and noisy when things die, right? Confirmation. Death is traumatic, right? It is a complete like separation of like the metaphysical and the physical, right? It is a complete like separation of soul and body. And so it's like so much of who you were just ceases to exist the moment you decide to go on this like new video game, this new venture. It's like you were in the Mario Kart and now you're in Mario Party, or maybe you were in Dungeons and Dragons and now you're in Mario's land. Like that's more fun, right? Like Mario Party is more fun than the Dungeons and Dragons reality. But if all you've ever known is the Dungeons and Dragons reality, it can feel scary to go into Mario land, right? And that's just like how like contrasting the energy is, because Pisces is so non-physical, it really is doing like the deep subconscious work and really like facing and confronting all of your fears. It's a big like surrender energy, and we're all learning how to really surrender and trust and have faith and leap into the unknown, because that is really where magic and miracles are created. And within the North Node here in Pisces, it's like you have to trust that the unseen is like actually more is actually more real than like what's in front of your face. Because the South Node is in Virgo, and it's like Virgos are control freaks, and they think the easiest way is to like work and plan and hustle and get the to-do list and plan of attack, and they like really try to use their mind to control and manipulate their realities. I say like manipulate in like a positive way, but like, you know, they're huge control freaks, because that's the only way that they learned how to actually feel safe is in control. North Node is in Pisces. The only control you have is no control, right? And so it's learning to just like let everything go and letting the universe show you everything that needs to go. Like I have had so much like 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 everything in my life is like dissolved, and I'm like, wait, I thought that was like, that was reliable, I thought that was sturdy, I thought that was trustworthy. And the universe is just showing you, it's like, no, like, no, it wasn't. Like, that was a false facade. Like, that was a false flag, right? It's like, that was an illusion. And so it's like all of these illusions are needing to be dropped. And but it's like your brain could have never like anticipated or seen it. And so it's like the universe is now showing it to you. And so it's like the even the idea that we have any control at all is like laughable, really, because, you know, there's a saying like, you plan and God laughs. It's like, that's what the astrology is basically saying, because it's like, well, but here's the thing, right? Like, there have like some of the most magical and miraculous things that have happened in my life are things I could have never freaking planned for. Like, I could have never planned for some of like the ways like manifestations have dropped in my lap, or I've met and aligned and ran into people that have became like family to me, or a person that I dated, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you, like, there's things that, like, the magic in your life happens when you don't frickin' plan for it. And that's like what the astrology is basically saying. It's like, you plan by getting your internal energy and your internal world right, because that is the only thing that you actually have control of. Like, the only thing that you have control of is yourself. And so, confirmation. And so when you are powerful in who you are, and you see and value yourself as the high priestess, as the empress, as the lover girl, as the wife, as the woman, as the mother, like whatever you are wanting to consciously cultivate and create, it's just about embodying the archetype, right? It's like, when I, you know, when I want to become something, or I'm wanting to manifest, it's like, I just have to get my energy behind it and focus on it. And then you have to then move with it and move with that energy. And most of what you have to do is release what you're not. Because like, one of the things that I always like remind myself when I'm like being forced to like shed a lot emotionally, I'm always like, my authentic self is the richest woman in the world. Like, I came out of the womb, like, I always joke that I came out of the womb with a silver spoon. Like, I had a silver spoon in my mouth from like the second I was born. I was like, I want the creme de la creme, baby. You know what I mean? So anytime like a fear or a lack comes up, I'm like, this is not authentic, right? Because I'm like, the truth of who I am is like royalty, like South Node and Leo, y'all, like South Node and Leo, right? I was like past life royalty, right? So it's like, I'm used to the silver spoon treatment, right? And so for me, it's like, that's authentic to me, like wanting the luxury. It's like, I was born that way. And so for me, like, so much of the work is then just shedding everything where I was like taught not to be a queen, right? It's like, if you're wanting to call in your divine life partner, what is that archetype that you need to embody? Because I guarantee you, when you were born, you were not acting from your ego, right? You were in an inherent alignment with that person, right? You didn't have any stories about where he was, right? Like when we were like kids, like I watched like little girls do all this all the time. Like, you could not tell me that like I could not marry Prince Eric. Like, you literally could not convince me otherwise. I was like, no, like he's my man. Like, he's my man. That is mine. Like that prince, like he is mine. And the dog too. I wanted the dog too. I was like, that's who I'm marrying, right? You couldn't tell me otherwise. And so it's like, that's kind of the energy. It's like, no, like, this is who I am. And like, this is where the Delulu energy of Pisces comes in. It's like, if you're in full alignment with that reality, the universe has no choice but deliver it to you. But you don't have to fucking figure out the how. The how is not your job. The how is God's job. Because God is way more creative than you. Your only job is your alignment, right? And people think that alignment means that everything is like easy. And that's not what true alignment is. when I'm in true alignment, like I have to take action through like the resistance and the fear in my body. Like the way actually I want to describe it, it's like it can feel activating, right? Like it can feel uncomfortable to be in alignment because you're going against your comfort zone of where you are. And so moving like in alignment with what you want can actually be like really uncomfortable confirmation. And I think people are like, I'm like, no, if you're comfortable like in your everyday freaking life, that's called stagnation. That is called the comfort zone, right? That is called stuck. Because the only constant in life is change. And so if you're not constantly changing and evolving and your life isn't constantly moving and flowing and adapting, then there's something within you that needs to shift, because your highest divine aligned life is going to require internal activation, right? It is going to like bump up against your subconscious, right? It is going to brush up against your comfort zone. And so you have to know how to expand, like consciously expand while like not, frying your fucking nervous system. Because I used to do that too. I used to like jump without a fucking parachute, and then my nervous system would just like freak out. I was actually thinking about that in meditation today. I was like, remember when you would like just go bungee jumping? Like I literally like bungee jumped. I not only bungee jumped, I bungee jumped and did like the fucking like swing where you like get shot out of a cliff. I did that in the same day. I did that in the same fucking day. Do you know how dysregulated my body and my nervous system was? I couldn't sleep for like 2 days. And then I'm like, knowing what I know now, like I never would do that to my body. But I'm like, my body like literally died twice in the same day, right? And it's like, it's not doing that to your body, right? Because that takes so much for your body to recover from, like just hormonally and like adrenaline wise and like cortisol wise and like, because basically, I mean, if you're jumping off a cliff, your body's dying, right? Like it didn't actually die, but like you're getting all those fucking hormones on the way down, right? And it was exhilarating, but I had so much adrenaline going through my body. My body was so stressed. I couldn't sleep, right? Like I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. And it's like, that's not what you want to do either, right? Oh, shoot, God, my former self was like a fucking good time though. She was wild. But my body and my, like, no wonder I was not in my body, because like, now that I'm in my body, I'm like, I don't want to like make you think that you're dying with my actions, right? But it's like, I am going to allow my body to consciously expand. And that looks like making yourself uncomfortable. Like, if you're calling an expansion, be like, what is the most uncomfortable thing I could do today, right? If you are wanting to, call in love, maybe what's most in alignment with you is to go sit at a coffee shop, not on your phone, not on a laptop, but just like in the fucking present moment with a coffee and making eye contact with strangers that you think are cute and like inviting them into your space. Maybe that's what's uncomfortable for your body, right? My ear just like plucked. It's like doing something that is uncomfortable to get you out of your comfort zone. And it's like taking aligned action with the higher version of yourself, because the higher version of yourself has already released the stories, has already released the emotions, has already released the traumas, has already released the emotions that you're resisting right now, right? Maybe you got rejected, I don't know, the last time. But your higher version of yourself isn't holding on to that story. So you have to do something to break through the story, right? They've already released that story from their body. They're not holding on to it. And so on a bigger level, that is what we're having to do, right? Maybe you started a business once and it failed and you're wanting to start another one. So you have to release all of that fear and that trauma and those patternings around things not working, right? Which I could argue you're actually better equipped for it to work this time because you have all that experience of the failed business, right? Or the time that it didn't work out. Because it's like you can just use all that knowledge and expertise to channel it into the new business to make it more successful, right? Because that's really what successful people have in common, is that they have failed more times than people who aren't successful. Confirmation. And so this next 6 months, you have to make yourself uncomfortable. You have to make yourself like really uncomfortable. And you have to face the subconscious stuff that you're avoiding and the shadows that you're avoiding. And I look back, like, you know, I've been like kind of reflecting on some of the cycles in my life, and I'm like, wow, I can like feel how much my subconscious was like blocking me in that time in my life, right? Because hindsight always 2020. Oh, like, okay, I saw why I was avoidant of that person, right? I can see what I was doing there. I can see it, right? Because generally, the work is just clearing your internal resistance. And because, again, like if you just watch little kids are not shy about taking action. If they want something, like I was at a 2-year-old's birthday party over the weekend, and I was just observing the kids, because I think we can just learn so much about, like, I mean, I could just go into the whole zodiac wheel about, like, you know, kids teach us like Aries, Taurus, Gemini energy when they're like, until they're about 5, like that's the energy they're in. They're in Aries, Taurus, Gemini. What are we in right now? Like we're in Aries, Taurus, Gemini energy with these outer planets. And like these kids, it's like this one kid was like playing with the truck, and the other kid wanted the truck, and like the kid just like went over and like took the fucking truck and like went across the room and started playing it. And then that kid like started crying as they took the truck. And it's like that kid didn't give a fuck that someone else was playing it. It's like he wanted it, so he wanted it, so he just like went and took it. You know, and I'm not saying like to do that, but it's like the energy of like I want that, and I'm just going to do it. Like kids are in their brains being like, well, I don't know, like Timmy's playing with it now. It's like, no, like they just go, they see it, they want it, they got it, they go for it. And it's like, that's the energy. And so it's like not letting your mind or your past hinder you from like what you want and where you're going. Because again, that version of you that has everything you want isn't holding on to those stories. The newborn inner child version of yourself has no stories, has no lack, has no limitations, has no programs. They're wide fucking open. And so it's like connecting. It's like bridging that your inner child like authenticity with the authenticity of your future self, and how can we bridge them in the present moment and move from that place, right? And so it's like, you know, how do you make that happen for yourself? You have to have courage, and you have to have commitment, you know? I am re-listening. I was going to say reading, but I'm listening to it on Audible. One of my favorite books, which is 10x is easier than 2x. And, you know, one of the things that he talks about in the book, I think he had actually stemmed like a whole second book, like a whole process. But it's like everyone wants the confidence and the capability before they start. Aries teaches you that you just have to have courage, right? You literally just have to have courage to start, because starting is half the battle, right? They say it's like starting the workout. It's like literally half the battle of the workout is just deciding to show up. It's like that's the energy. It's like half the battle is just the courage to develop a skill, because that's literally like all we're doing here in life on earth is just constantly like reinventing and redeveloping ourselves. I always like kind of watching people in the public eye. I was telling someone this recently. Lady Gaga did her dissertation. I think it was like either like at Parsons or like Columbia, one of these schools in New York, before she was famous, right? She like went to school to like, you know, who knows what she went to school for, art, I don't know. But she basically studied all of these pop stars that had longevity over the course of their careers. Like she studied like Madonna and Elton John and like all these artists that had like fame that spanned decades, right? And she was like, the number one thing that they all had in common was they constantly reinvented themselves. And so if you look at Lady Gaga in her career, she's had like all of these constant different iterations of herself, right? Like she had like the meat suit Gaga, like the egg Gaga. Like she had like that really like big pop star Gaga, and then she had that like really stripped down version of the Gaga. And then, you know, we had the movie star Gaga, and she went and did like Broadway, I think. Like there's been so many just different iterations of her. And, you know, she's like been around, I mean, probably like 20 years at this point, but, you know, she's like probably my age, actually. She's probably been around long as me. And how many different iterations of her she is, like, because she's just constantly reinventing herself. One of my favorite celebrities, Shaq, you know, he gained fame, like probably one of the most famous people in the world, actually. He has gained fame through basketball, but now it's like he's a businessman. He's a DJ. He has different TV shows, right? He's like a color analyst. He throws like these shacked in a full like house parties, like fun house parties. You know, he does all these different things. He's literally just got awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And so there's like all of these just different iterations. Like no one like just looks at Shaq and was like, oh, he's a basketball player. He's done movies, right? Like he's just done so many different things. Like another person I'm thinking of is like The Rock, right? He was a wrestler, then he was an actor. Now he's in the production, like he has his own like production company. You know, like you constantly have to be reinventing themselves. I think what they're doing is more impressive because they do it with the entire fucking public eye on them, right? And so they're like having to navigate these big identity shifts with like the whole view of the world on them, right? Think about how strong their nervous systems are. And so that's really like what you have to do within your own life. It's like every time you create a quantum shift, you just take on a different identity and you just decide. It's just a decision. And then in the decision and in the courage to become that new identity and the commitment to it, because it's not going to be easy at first, right? It's not going to be easy at first because you don't have the confidence and capabilities, right? Because those things come from doing things. If you are a business owner, do you know how many fucking business skills you have to learn to become a business owner? You're not going to be confident in all of them before you start, but you can develop confidence in yourself, trust in yourself, that you can figure it out, right? And then it's in the commitment to the goal that you develop the confidence and the capability. And it's literally just through repetition. Because when you do it, when you make an identity shift, you literally just have to have awareness of the subconscious blocks, emotions, stories, patterns that are preventing you from this new identity. And then you just literally have to take action to integrate the opposite, right? Or the new, whatever the new thing is, right? And you literally, it's just about repetition. Because as soon as you take repetition, it's like practice. Like, how did Shaq become a good basketball player? He practiced. How did he become a good DJ? He practiced, right? Something I learned from one of the professional athletes I dated is he said, you just have to be willing to suck. You just have to be willing to suck when you first start. And that's really the difference between the fucking superstars and the super nuts. Right? It's like you just have to, it's just the willingness. Willingness is just half the battle. The courage and the willingness is just everything. And so right now we're redefining ourselves and deciding who you want to become. And so I just got like such lightness in my body. I was like, because that's freedom, right? You can just, that is the ultimate freedom that we have on this planet. The freedom to change and evolve and become whoever we desire it to be, right? Little kids, they're a princess one day, and then the next day they decide they want to be a mermaid. They're not like in their heads about it. Right? It's like playing in that energy, because with, again, all of these outer planets moving between Aries and Pisces and Gemini and Taurus, it's like that newborn little kid energy. It's like approaching life from a fresh perspective, a new lens. If you pretended that you had never been on a date before in your life, you'd probably be really fucking excited to go on a date. You'd probably be really excited to go talk to a boy, to go talk to a man, right? Do you remember how excited you were to like date when you were a teenager? Like, I mean, I wanted to like date every boy when I was like 5. I was like, you know, I came out of the womb wanting a man, right? But it was so exciting. Like, oh, it's like approaching life from that like fresh, newborn perspective of anything is possible. I can go be a mermaid on this date tonight if I want to be. And so whoever you have been up until this point, like, literally doesn't fucking matter. Literally doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what happened to you in the past. Because it ceases to exist the second you decide. And then it's just moving through that emotional resistance that your body holds, because your body will holds on to it. And that's why most of the battle is just getting your subconscious and your nervous system on board and just dissolving everything that you're not. Because the second you feel the emotion, the second that you feel feel into the resistance, the clarity drops in, right? It dissolves so fast, as soon as you just welcome the emotion. And some of this, right, is about just like rebalancing the masculine and the feminine. Because, you know, most people, like when I look at people's birth charts, actually I'm going to say it's like 2 things really. It's not knowing how to meet people's emotional needs and being off balance when it comes to their masculine and feminines. Because when we talk about, when I look at people's birth charts, you know, there's usually a few places that people get stuck. And one, I'll say there's like kind of like 2 archetypes. One is like the warrior woman who is like super freaking successful, and has the 3D things, but she's overridden her emotions and her feminine for that success, right? So she's neglected the needs of her inner child and her moon, and the desires, wants, and, you know, dislikes the love of the feminine. So she's more in the masculine. And then like the second archetype is like where people are actually like too in their moon, I would say, and really letting like their inner child run the show. And that's where you actually need to integrate more of the masculine, because what you actually need to do is like bring in the safety of the masculine, so that you can actually develop trust with your own inner masculine, that it's safe and that she doesn't need to like, because basically what happens, it makes for a really emotionally immature adult, because like their inner child is like running the show. And it doesn't mean that they're like overly emotional, but it's like they're still in those survival adaptations of their inner child. So that can look like they're a people pleaser, they're hyper independent, they're hyper vigilant, they're trying to control things. And really what they actually need to do is integrate their masculine confirmation, because when you can integrate your masculine, then you feel safe and you can come back into your body and you can open your heart. And that's when your magnetism turns on, and you can just like reestablish that like inner trust and that inner safety to really let your authenticity and your heart shine through. And that's actually the thing that allows your feminine to come out. And then on the other archetype, it's like we need to pull the masculine back so that your heart can shine through. And so those are like the 2 main places where I see women get stuck. It's like their masculine is in control, or their inner child is in control. And so it's about recalibrating and rebalancing that internally, so like your authenticity can just shine through. Because Aries is about your authenticity, it is about your truth, it is about your confidence, It's about how you see, view, value yourself, because that is your identity. And your identity is what manifests your reality. And Aries is also about having high standards and having boundaries. And so, you know, what is a kid's favorite word? No. Right? No. I was talking to one of the dads and they were like, oh yeah, his like favorite word is no. And he's just like, no. And I'm like, yeah, these kids like know their fucking boundaries and you can learn from these kids. They're just like, no, that doesn't work for me. No. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, you know? And how often do we override that within ourselves when our body knows it's a no? And so it's like, oh, sometimes it's just like, you know, yeah, that guy likes you. He thinks you're cute, but do you like him? Do you want to go out with him? You know, like, of course he likes you because you're a goddamn delight. You know what I mean? Like, everyone likes you. So it's like, but it's like, sometimes you got to say no is the most magnetic word, right? No, that doesn't work for me. I do not consent. That's one of my favorite things. Like, I just say to the universe, I'm like, I don't consent to this. Like, don't ever send this to me again. Don't send me this kind of person ever again. I do not consent to chaos in my reality. Like, that's one of the rules that I've made. Anyone that has chaos, internal chaos, is ejected from my fucking reality. Do you know how many people that removed from my reality when I made that rule? You have chaos in your life. Oh, trust me, I was shocked by how much got removed from my fucking life. It's like nothing that is chaotic can be in my reality. And then I have to uphold those standards and those boundaries with people. But then the universe just literally removed people who were operating from chaos from my life, right? And so it's about like establishing like these new rules and these new standards and these new boundaries for who you are, your new identity, and how life gets to be for you. The universe is constantly like, if you're not saying no to things in your life, the universe is just like, oh, well, she loves this. Let me just give her more. She loves that unavailable dude. She keeps saying yes to him. It's like, you have to say no to some shit. Otherwise, that's how you determine your reality. Like, you have to put your own fucking filter. And so many women cost themselves so much fucking time, so much fucking effort, so much energy, so much heartbreak, because they don't have those standards in the beginning. They don't have that filter system in the beginning. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? You knew from the first date you didn't want, like, that guy wasn't aligned with you, but you didn't have the inner power, the inner chutzpah, the inner worth to say no to that shit. So then you spent 2 years of your life in a relationship with him, and you literally just cost yourself 2 years of your life and so much heartbreak and so much hurt that you have to now go heal from. When if you just would have had standards and stuck to your boundaries from the beginning. But that's how we learn, right? That's how we learn. And that's why it's important to do this identity work, to become this woman, because then you can approach your life from a relationship from such a different place. And so it's about being self-interested and self-focused, not in like, you know, a selfish, like, see you next Tuesday way. But it's selfish in your energy, right? It's prioritizing your energy. It's prioritizing yourself, your world, your universe, your likes, your dislikes. What works for me? Sorry, that doesn't work for me, right? Sorry, I'm not free on Friday. I'm free on Saturday. Because you have created a full fucking life that revolves around you, not him. Or not that friend that, you know, wants you to go to happy hour on a Tuesday when you have work, you know, whatever it is. And so it's about getting so clear in your identity and who the woman that you want to be in this world, and dissolving everything preventing you from being it. And then shifting your perspective and zooming out and see the higher perspective and being like, okay, I see what I have to shift. I see how she would move. I see what she would say yes to. I see what she would say no to. Like, I'm talking like very primally, right? Because this is Aries, very primally. And Gemini is like how we chat, how we think, how we puzzle, how we problem solve, right? And then it's operating in congruence and in alignment with it. And then just having the commitment, the consistency, and the discipline to become her every single frickin' day. And then your 3D reality has no choice but to mirror it back to you. So the identity work is so important. It's so powerful because it really is determining your reality subconsciously until you can take the reins and rein them in. You're driving the horse. You're driving your own ship. You are the captain. So that's really the work that we're doing the next 6 months. Because we just had this new moon in Cancer. Come January next year, that's when the universe is like, okay, full guns blazing. And all of these outer planet shifts are going to be moving back into their signs. They're all retrograding back this fall. They're all moving for good. Not for good, but for however long the transit is for each of them. Like 2-3 years, 15 years, 7 years. They're moving for good, right? Out of where they were. So everything in your life that was as it was and that part of your chart can be no longer. And so this summer is really important. While we have all of these planets in these new signs, because it's giving you an opportunity to adapt and create this new identity. So if you want support with that, you can join me inside of the Standard, and this is exactly the work that we're going to be doing. 10 weeks to embody your new identity, upgrade your womanhood, upgrade your boundaries, upgrade your standards, and develop emotional control. And we're going to be going into your individual birth charts and getting you into alignment with your authentic self and giving you the tools to really set yourself up for success and really rebalancing that inner masculine and feminine so that you can just naturally be like the woman you came here to be and then go fuck shit up from that place. That's my Venus in Sagittarius. I'm like, I came here to fuck shit up, right? You might just be here to be a mother, and that's beautiful and amazing, right? I don't want to say like just be a mother, but you know what I mean. Like whatever your authentic life looks like and feels like for you. That is what we are aligning with. So teaching you how to be a woman, baby, teaching you emotional control, teaching you to upgrade your identity. So every time your life shifts, you know exactly the work to do so that you can be in alignment and really just cut the time it takes to get you where you want to go in half. And we're going to do it with less stress, less effort. And I shouldn't say less effort because, you know, doing this work takes a lot of bravery and courage to sit with yourself and hold yourself in some of those kind of deep emotional places to really break free of those patternings. So it's like, because so much, you know, we live in a pattern reality. And so it's really about breaking the patterns and that exist in the body and learning to feel in a different way and to create in a different way. And emotional control will get you so freaking far. And it's literally the most attractive thing. You can learn as a woman, especially to a masculine man. God's source universe is emotional control. And this is, again, not neglecting emotional, like some of that masculine archetype. It's not neglecting emotion. So maybe for some of you, it's learning to hold that masculine container for yourself, for your emotions. So it's going to be a profound 10-week container. I can't wait to see the transformations and really set yourself up for success before, you know, you get into that partnership, before you become a wife, before you become a mother, like really doing the archetype work to really become her first. Because everything is just like you stepping into it energetically first, right? It's like you stepping into the millionaire first, you stepping into the wife first, right? You stepping into the mother first, and then your 3D reality calibrates to you. So, sending you so much love. You can, of course, also book a one-on-one birth chart session they're like birth chart coaching sessions with me. I'm also enrolling in my 12-week one-on-one coaching and mentorship container. I will post all of the information in the show notes below, but it's going to be a really powerful summer to shift your life, and the energy is going to be moving fast. So set yourself up for success for the next 6 months and beyond. All my love. Bye, guys.